Welcome back to another episode of Al's Vintage Toy Trains. I hope you're having a great day. So today I'm going to do a review on this Lionel 1955 Congressional Set that I have in the front or foreground. I also have in comparison the 1956 Congressional Set. So the 1955 set is the one I picked up recently, a couple of weeks ago. It was a purchase in Hudson, Mass, and everything looked nice as far as the presentation of the shell and the cars. Everything's boxed, and I'll show you those in a few minutes. So the only issue was that one of the motors had seized, and when I put it on the test track, it really wouldn't move other than the one motor trying to drag it along. So I knew there was an issue with it. We ended up striking a good deal on it, and I finally got around to servicing the engine. So basically it was just gummed up and gunked up. It hadn't been serviced in many years. This was a shelf queen, so it really just needed a good servicing, cleaning, and re-greasing and lubing. So this 1955 Congressional Set was the most expensive set for 1955. It actually sold for $100 when you looked at the catalog, and I'll go through the catalogs in a moment. It only showed that the GG1 was $49, and you had a choice of the Tuscan Red or the green. So it did not give you a set price, and it basically told you to see your dealer to get the cost of the sets. And that was also the same in 56. So this is the 1955 2340 GG1. The stripes are kind of there. They are faded, but that's really the only negative on this engine that I've got, is that the stripes are faded. But otherwise, it's in excellent shape and no issues. And obviously, I've got the four Pennsylvania cars with it. So the first one being the Moly Pitcher, which is a Pullman. The second one being the William Penn Pullman. Third, we have the Betsy Ross Vista Dome. And then last is the Alexander Hamilton Observation Car. And it's the exact same thing for the 1956 set. Same cars, same numbers. And the only difference between the 55 and the 1956 set was that the GG1 was numbered 2360 in 1956. Both sets were $100, and both were the most expensive sets for their years in 55 and 56. So that's the cursory look at the 1955 Congressional Set. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the catalogs now. This is a look at Lionel's 1955 catalog, with the Congressional Set, basically the centerfold with 2 pages. And they added some artistic work with the cherry blossoms that you see in the background. As you know, the Congressional Set was primarily a run from New York City to Washington, D.C. And in the headline it says, "A Miracle of Modeling Accuracy, the Congressional, Pennsylvania's twin-motor electric GG1 locomotive. Each power plant in this O-Gauge 2340 series has twin motors, command performance electric horn, and double-duty magnet traction." And you can see that they had the pricing here at $49.95 for each of the GG1s. You could get it in green, which was the common, and you could get it in the Tuscan Red, which was designed for the Congressional Set. And there we have the 2340 in its full glory. And looking at the passenger cars in the catalog, note that they have the maroon ribbon with Pennsylvania at the top, but what they're showing is the placards on the bottom, which is not how they were made. So we'll take a closer look at that in a moment, but in the catalog you can see they have the names on a placard underneath the windows. And in reality, it's the same maroon ribbon that you see at the top with the name printed on those. And it told you also that you should see your dealer for the pricing of the sets. So they only gave you the price of the GG1, and it would tell you to see your dealer to get the pricing on a full set. So that's 2-page spread. Nicely done. They also show the GG1 as a freight set on the bottom, and that set I believe went for $75. So that was the next most expensive set with the GG1. All right, we'll go ahead and take a look at the next catalog. And here we're taking a look at the 1956 Lionel catalog. And again, it shows a freight set with the GG1, the green GG1 at the top. And below, it also shows the Congressional Set. And the only difference now is that the Congressional Set is led by a 2360 GG1 instead of the 2340. And you'll note in the artwork that they actually corrected the look of the passenger cars. And now it's got that maroon band with the name of each of the cars below the windows. So that was corrected as far as what's depicted in the catalog. So those are the two catalogs. Again, the GG1 was $49, and the Congressional Set, again, was $100 for the set. So now we're going to take a quick look at the boxes. So I've got the individual boxes for the passenger cars along with the 2340 GG1. They're not in the best of shape as far as the passenger car boxes, but the GG1 box is in great shape. The passenger car boxes do have all their end flaps, though taped. And you can see each of the numbers. And we've got the engine box itself. Now we're going to go ahead and take a closer look at the engine box. So I've got the original Lionel paper, though tattered, but still there. We've got an insert, which I'm not sure if it's the original insert or not, but it has a catalog number of 2332-276, which is the earlier GG1. But maybe they had plenty of these inserts and used them for the later GG1s. And then we've got the box itself for the 2340. And it lists it as the 2340-10. Box was made in 1955. And somebody else has writing on it. But so there's the boxes. Now let's go back to the train. So now we're going to go ahead and run both GG1 Congressional sets. Primarily we're looking at this 1955 set that I just picked up in Hudson. So the 1955 set is catalog number 2254W, headed by the 2340. And the 1956 Congressional set is labeled 2274W and is headed by the 2360 GG1. And really the only difference between the two is the numbering. The cars are identical to one another. However, in 1956, Lionel switched to a silver-colored knuckle rivet. The 1955 set has all the darkened rivets, and my 1956 set has a mix of both the darkened and the silver rivets. So that's really the only difference between the two sets. Let's go ahead and put them into operation. Starting with the 1955 set. And the 1956 set. Really love these two sets. They were the top of the line for each year, 1955 and 1956. So they were the best that Lionel had to offer. Sets went for $100 each. The next highest costing set in 1955 was another GG1 freight set, and that sold for $75. So it was a $25 jump to go from an expensive set to the top of the line set. Love these double motored GG1s. They really do run well. I was very happy or very pleased to have that 1955 GG1 working after just cleaning and servicing it. And that's really all it needed. I really hope you enjoyed the video. And this is Al. I hope you have a great day. Have a good one, everybody.